everyone, and welcome back to another episode of ShadeTV. My name is Marissa Hill, and today we are going to be looking at the Yeezy Foam Runners in two color variations, the MXT Moon Gray as well as the Sand. Let's take a sneak peek. And welcome back to another unboxing and review. If you're new to the channel, be sure to smash that subscribe button right now. Give this video a thumbs up at the end if you enjoy it. Feel free to leave me any comments or questions down below. Also hit that notification bell because we have a ton of heat coming out that I don't want you guys to miss out on, as well as be sure to check out our join button. We have some amazing membership tiers that you guys are not going to want to miss out on, as well as our Shade merch store. We've got some great items online, so be sure to check that out when you have a chance. All right, so as mentioned earlier, we are going to be talking about the Yeezy Foam Runners. I'm so excited to go through these two different color variations. So we're going to start out with the overview of both of the Sand as well as the MXT Moon Grays. Then we're going to talk about sizing and fit. Just to give you guys a heads up, we will have an actual full sizing video on the Foam Runner so that you are able to get an idea before you do purchase these, just because this is a complicated silhouette size-wise since there were no half sizes. So you'll definitely want to stay tuned for when that video is uploaded to the YouTube space. All right, so after that, we are then going to dive into styling. Obviously, this was a very fun shoe to style. I have never owned anything like this before, so I really had fun with it. Then we're going to conclude with how these shoes are doing on the resale market. As you guys know, the Aura Rats are killing it right now for the resellers. They are going for a very high price point, so you'll definitely want to stay till the end to hear how these two different colorways are doing currently. All right, so let's jump into it and start discussing the MXT Moon Grays. This is a very unique coloring scheme. It's got this really just cool marbled effect to it. Kind of from afar, it's just almost looks like it was painted, you know, in different parts on top of this moon gray coloring scheme. And then they've also painted the inner portion of this silhouette as well, even the bottom portion. They really didn't miss out on many areas of really just dabbling with that sand tone color scheme. So they call it sand, but it is a little different from the sand coloring scheme on this version. And I think it is because they layered it on top of that moon gray. So it does kind of give it this more of a creamy orange hue, but I do love that they kind of left the frontal portion of the Foam Runner in just simple moon gray color scheme. But overall, this is just a crazy, eccentric looking silhouette. I definitely had a lot of people stopping and staring at me when I was shooting these, kind of just because they're really way out there. And I feel like this moon gray coloring scheme definitely stands out a little bit more than the sand coloring scheme does. So for those of you who don't know the make of this silhouette, this is actually made from algae. So it's an algae based shoe. There is some EVA in here, but this apparently algae is, the algae that they use is apparently more sustainable than alternative products that they've used to create similar concepts. So definitely interesting. I've never owned an algae shoe per se. I did growing up have a fish. Actually, it was an algae eater. So that was pretty entertaining to see him just kind of keep my fish tank extremely clean. But I didn't realize that algae actually could be used to actually make a shoe like this. This is crazy. but very comfortable and just something different and unique. So I was definitely happy with this beautiful MXT moon gray color scheme. All right, so now let's move on to actually before we move on to the sand, I want you guys to just take a closer look at the details on this specific colorway. All right, so now moving on, we're gonna talk about the sand. So this one obviously is the same silhouette. The only different feature is that you do not have the same effect as this marbling going on with the MXT Moon Grays. This one is just a more simple base color. It's very much so close to an off-white color scheme. It almost reminds me of a similar color to the bone on the slides. The original version, the Ararat, was actually more of kind of a white coloring scheme, but I do actually like this off-white tone. I think it's gonna go great with a lot of neutral colors for the springtime. So I was happy that I was able to secure two different colors just because I don't know how much I'm going to be able to work this into my styling through the spring as much as I will be with this simplistic colorway. But all the features again are the same. This is made out of algae and it's just a very actually super lightweight shoe, just so you guys know. It's like crazy how light these are in hand, and also it's very comfortable. It kind of reminds me of Crocs. When you put Crocs on, they kind of have those massaging little balls on them. This actually has kind of that same feeling when you put your foot in, so it's actually very comfortable. And it definitely does fit pretty snug on the back of the heel here. But let's take a closer look at this colorway up close. All right, so now that we've gone through the two colorways, just so you guys know, this version for some reason was made in China, the MXT Moon Grays, and this version was made in the US, as well as the Ararat that was also made in the US, which was pretty unusual. Some are saying that the reason this had to be made in China was just because they weren't able to do that marble effect on the MXT Moon Grays, but they were able to do a simplistic color scheme like the sands here in the US. All right, so sizing was a little bit difficult. So I actually grabbed a pair of backups just in case in the sand colorway in a size 7. And I also got a size 8, which are the MXT Moon Grays and the sands. I wasn't sure how the sizing was going to be, but I will definitely say that the 7 is way too small. So I'm technically a 7.5 in men's sizing, but with Yeezys, I typically do size half a size up. I would say that that stays true to this silhouette. So if you are typically sizing half a size up in Yeezys, you should definitely go up in size for this silhouette. Do not size down on this one. It will be too small, I promise you. There is a lot of extra space in the back of this silhouette that is not going to be utilized by your heel. So definitely don't size down. And for those of you who are in that half sizing range, if you're say a 7 and you're a true 7.5 in Yeezy, that is a tough call, but definitely stay tuned for my sizing guide on these, and hopefully that will help you figure out the perfect fit if you're trying to buy these on the resale market, because you're not going to want to make that mistake. These are definitely reselling for a pretty high price point, so you'll definitely want to, nail what your exact size and fit will be. All right, so now let's get into styling. This was a fun shoe to style. I definitely wanted to, bring out some of my spring wardrobe that I'm going to be wearing coming up in this new season. So for the first look, I actually wore what I'm wearing now, which is this kind of neutral beige tone shirt. And I paired that with my new Ivy Park pants. They're also kind of in this off-white cream color with some gray tones. I actually just felt like it worked so well with both of these colorways, specifically the MXT Moon Grays, because it's kind of got the same silvery gray and just kind of cream-based textures to it. Also, just wearing very neutral, subdued colorways, I think will go so well with both colorway options.
Pardon me and my tone. You can't step to my throne. They ain't working like me. I did this on my own. You asking where we been, huh? I don't know where to begin, huh? All this dirt on my skin. I just came here to win. I'm more than a man, I'm a monster. Somebody call a pastor, doctor. I got a 6th sense for imposters. So now I'm coming for the whole roster.
For the second look, I decided to, dress it up a little bit. So I wore a black Balenciaga skirt, and then I layered that with an ALC blazer. Underneath that, I had a vest from Zara on top of just a simple button-down white tee, or not white tee, but long sleeve. And I think that the plaid and the colors in that plaid just really worked very well with both of these shoes. There's browns and beiges and blacks that go in that blazer, and obviously black is going to go very well with either of these colorways. Black, as you guys know, and sometimes dark gray are my favorite colors to wear.
I only work in black, and sometimes very, very dark gray.
A shame, think something new under the sun. You can't take back them things you already done. No. You blame things that you do on somebody else. No. But they all see is you need help.
So that was the second look. For the last and final look, I decided to wear just a long trench coat layered on top of some black leggings, and then my NASA gray hoodie underneath. I think gray and just neutral khaki tones went very well with both of these colorways. Again, just for a different option, I wanted to bring some other shades into the game here with that khaki coat.
It's not a game, why you playing with me? You could double back, lose track, try and hang with me. It must be in my veins, something you can't tame, cause I break the chains. Can't control me. I got the power, I got the keys, cause I break the chains. They try to hold me, I'ma push back, just wait and you'll see.
But definitely had fun styling these three, so you guys will have to let me know in the comments down below which you like the best.
You just wanna to be left outside the grid. It's all for sure. I didn't know. I wonder what it meant to be. If I let go and let it flow, I think there's more to see.
I just need a break. I'll take what you need. I just need to break.
Do you just feel like there is no just left to see? Do you just wanna to rewriting down your script? It's all for sure, I didn't know. I wonder what it meant to be. If I let go, let it flow, I think there's more in me.
I just need a break. I'll take what you need. I just need to break.
And then why don't we get into some sock game and talk about how I style these with socks. I don't know personally if I will ever be able to wear these without socks. I feel like you would probably get blisters in these, so I don't want to attempt to try it. But I have actually seen people not wearing socks with these. I just don't think that that's personally going to work for me. But because there are so many random perforated holes throughout the shoe, you definitely are going to want to be on your sock game because you're going to see your socks underneath. So for the first two socks, they are both Tabio socks. Again, Tabio is a Japanese sock brand that I love wearing because they have such a variety in sock options and they're just high quality socks. So for the marbled effect, I kind of wanted to find a sock that had, you know, some gray tones in it with a pattern. And I really just loved how this charcoal, I feel like, really matched this moon gray to a T, but also had kind of a different pattern to it. So I wanted to add that pattern and texture, which I think played so well with the moon gray silhouette. And then for the next option, I decided to have a little bit more frilly tabby toe sock going on here, and it has some, you know, cute little texture to it as well. I think that this just simple beige tone goes well with both the sand colorway as well as the moon gray option. And, you know, it's just a simple base color that I think works well with either, you know, colorway that you do decide to wear. And then for the last and final option, this pair of sock is actually from Zara, and I love this kind of textured sock. I love that thick sock look. So this actually I felt like paired extremely close to the sand colorway. So this was kind of my favorite pairing for this specific color, but it does go very well again with the moon gray. Just depends on, you know, which color you want to rock, but definitely a go-to sock of mine, and I think it worked well with both. So you guys let me know what type of sock you would wear with these, or would you just rock these barefoot? All right, so now let's conclude with Resale. These shoes went for $80, which is a great price point. As far as the Aura Rots go, let's talk about that. So that was the first foam runner to release in that kind of white colorway. And that is currently going for $650 to $1,300, which is crazy. When these first came out, I think there were a lot of critics out there talking BS about these shoes, and now look at how well they're doing on the resale market. It is insane. So I would not even think twice about these probably increasing in price point at some period in time. I do think the same kind of trend happened with the slides, where people were not so into them, and then all of a sudden something clicked. Everyone wanted a pair, and they are just going for an insane price point. But let's start with the MXT Moon Grays. So again, these retail at $80, and currently they're going for $300 to $400, which is a pretty crazy price point increase, you know, for these just releasing. And then the sand colorway is doing around the same, $270 to $400, again, depending on which size you are. All right, everyone, thanks so much again for tuning in to another one of my unboxings and reviews. If you're new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up if you haven't already. Leave me any comments or questions that you may have down below, as well as hit that notification bell, because we have a ton of heat coming out that I don't want you guys to miss out on, as well as check out our membership tiers. We have so many amazing membership perks, so be sure to check that out when you have time, as well as our merch store. All right, everyone, this is ShadeTV, and my name is Marissa Hill. We will catch you on the next episode.